Welcome to this Android channel, and I wanted to talk once again about some security tips for Android. One of the things that is very dangerous for not just Android, but anybody that connects to public Wi-Fi. But the reason I do a special one here for Android, because of two little aspects that Android have, depending on the device you have. First of all, we tend to connect to public Wi-Fi mostly with our smartphones and tablets, much more than anything else. And this is, of course, a danger already. Public Wi-Fi is known to be dangerous because it is, a connection shared by a lot of people. And in there, well, there are some bad guys that tend to stay in public Wi-Fi areas to try to snoop into what people are doing and maybe even get into their devices if possible. One of the biggest problems with Android devices is coming from the fact that updates are often behind on the real updates. So for example, on my Galaxy S9 Plus, it says that my level of updates is June. We are almost in September. It shows you that the level of updates is actually behind. And this is something that happens with a lot of the devices for a simple reason. Because they're not stock Android, the software updates are often tested. And basically, that's what's happening. So here, if I look at my device right now, okay, they've updated now. The last update installed on July 13. So it's giving me July updates. But still, we're behind. We're behind on the Samsung devices. But it does say security patch level. So it's nuts because it's like, yeah, but you should update more frequently. So the fact that we are behind actually gives a security problem to our Android devices. So the biggest problem with being behind in security means if there's a security flaw that can be exploited, well, public Wi-Fi's are the best place for all of this to happen. So that's why you should really lower the amount of usage of public Wi-Fi. Really make sure that you use them the least possible because they are security hazards for all our devices. If you have, or if you're lucky to have, a Pixel phone, then you have probably less of a problem in security there because they're updated more frequently. But it's still very dangerous. You never know what could happen. And of course, the big rule is if you do connect to public Wi-Fi, try to do the least amount of, activity that could be a problem. Like, for example, do not do financial transaction or bank accounts and stuff like that. If you do need to check or do financial transaction, unconnect from the public Wi-Fi and do it on your LTE or 4G connections instead. And of course, try to mitigate and lower the amount of time you spend on public Wi-Fi's. Another thing, make sure that if you do use public Wi-Fi, use the ones that have a password so that you have to connect with a password. What's the difference? Open Wi-Fi hotspots are not encrypted. It's easy to snoop on the packets and see what you're doing. A connected Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi that has a password, well, already that changes the game because the packets of data between your device and the router are encrypted. So favor always public Wi-Fi connections that have passwords over the ones that are totally open without passwords. And of course, there's a few things you can do like using a VPN. This will of course help you, and try to stay as safe as possible. And unfortunately, public Wi-Fi are very useful. Most of us are very limited in our data on our smartphones. And of course, public Wi-Fi are cool for that because we can connect and do a lot of things. But be very careful when you use them. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.